आंखों में मस्ती दूर खड़ी शर्माए हाय हाय एक झलक दिखलाए कभी कभी आंचल में छुप जाए हाय हाय मेरी नजर से तुम
जितना वाहियात ये गाना है उतनी वाहियात इस गाने की एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती हैं जो हम रियल लाइफ में लगा लेते हैं while choosing a life partner. Listeners, this show is called Prem Connection. Welcome on Radio Zindagi 1170 AM. Prem Connection लेके आते हैं आपके लिए with our host, the one and only Renu Dillon. ये शो होता है every Thursday 7 to 7:30 where we talk about stories about relationships. We have great speakers. We have people who have come here to share their stories, to share their experiences, and that is why if you also want to be a part of the show, you can definitely write to Miss Renu Dillon also and be a part of the show. So without any further ado, Miss Renu, welcome to the show. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and today I'm going to look very distracted because I'm just waiting to see
Focus here,
the
focus.
results. You know, it's
See,
like getting married. I feel like I'm getting married and I'm waiting for my new groom, new president.
absolutely, and that's right. I mean, we cannot have ridiculous expectations while having a president or while having a life partner. So let's focus on this show also because it is equally
Absolutely.
important to be rational and make the right decisions.
Absolutely. And you know, we picked the right subject today because being rational era is so important. So, first of all, thank you for co hosting with me because my partners today, both of them are not well. And I wish them a speedy recovery. Sheena, I miss you. Rohan, I'm not sure where you are, but I miss you. And Kamal, I miss you a lot, Auntie Kamal. Get better. So, it's going to be Auntie Renu and Auntie Ira today. You get promoted to Auntie Ira today.
Thank you. I'm so happy about it.
But you know, it's funny. It's just before the show, I was actually posting comments on Facebook, and I was thinking about, you know, when you choose the president, right? It's like choosing your life partner. The only difference is the president you can change every 4 years,
Every
whereas
4 years.
I mean, sure, you can change them. It's become a lot easier to change them, but do you really want to be changing your life partner every 4 years? So
Exactly.
today we're going to be meeting this beautiful young lady who is going to share her story.
Hmm.
And from that story, she's going to share her experiences because, you know, it's very easy, Ira, to just talk about all the love that happens and people falling in love. And we have enough Bollywood that shows that. But the fact is, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. And it's so important to learn from people that have gone through those experiences what the
True.
red flags can be. And if you can see those while you're dating or while you're going through your relationship when you meet somebody, it can probably avoid you from getting into the mess America got in 4 years ago.
We did not see the red flags, or we saw and then
We
ignored
did,
them, and that's what exactly happens if you see
yeah,
red flags but you think that's okay, everyone has flaws, it's going to get okay with time.
of course, of course.
And
We all
now
make
more
things
than
a little
ever,
bit better. Yeah,
be it president or be it your life partner, one has to be more cautious. One has to have an open, like, you have to have more open eyes to be able to seek and have to know what you want eventually.
no, you have to know what you want. And also the thing is that we have to remember that it's just like dating. When you date somebody for the first few dates, they don't really show their true colors until later on, right?
And it's all rosy at that time.
Absolutely. So here we are. We have
We have
our beautiful
Tanya.
guest with us. Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? You look great and they're pink. I
Oh, I
love
think
the.
today was my pink. Actually, I should be wearing blue. But I was just telling Ira, I feel like this bride that's waiting for a new president, a new husband. But first of all, let me give you a warm welcome to the show, Tanya. You and I go back a long time, and you've been on my other shows. But for all those who've just tuned in, you're listening to Prem Connection. And as I mentioned a few minutes earlier, we like to bring real life experiences. And I mean, it's very easy to paint a rosy picture in life and show you that falling in love is fabulous. And it is if you fall in love. But it's so important to also listen to real life experiences of people that can shed some light and some thought and give you the cues to some possible negatives in relationships. And that's why I've invited Tanya to be on our show. Tanya is very well known. She's a not only is she stunningly beautiful, I'm extremely intimidated by having her on my show because she's just so pretty. But she's very talented artist, and wonderful speaker and very warm. And she's going to share with us her story, her journey about what she went through. And she's going to be advising all the listeners, men and women. This is not just a show for women, men and women, what the red flags can be in a relationship or what you need to rationalize. So on that note, an official welcome to you.
Thank you for kind words. Yourself is beautiful. What you're doing is a great service to people. So what I'm going to share this, I haven't shared on, live. A lot of people don't know my story. They know a little bit because I speak my story through my art.
Yes, I know.
And
Your art is beautiful. And you were part of Narika. I believe you had some of your work on the Narika show as well, right?
yes, I was the first speaker at Narika many, many years ago. I do
Right,
show, and this you will get my 30 plus years of experience and what I went through and why I stayed single till to not, the Prem Connection is to keep myself healthy and to stay away from all the red flags and stuff. So I will definitely open my heart, and I want just everybody to open to listen, and I'll tell you, where I'm coming from.
Absolutely. And we all want to listen. And again, for those who've tuned in, this is Prem Connection. And even though we're a matchmaking service and we talk about how to bring people together, one of the big things we do is we use the word life partner. I don't use the word marriage because I think really society has changed and we need to talk about bringing people together. Marriage is just a contract and a piece of paper. And it's whereas a life partner is a relationship, a long-term relationship and commitment.
That's a commitment from inside. Yes.
Absolutely. So Tanya, let's begin with your story. So were you already in the US or were you living abroad? Tell us what happened.
Sure. So I'm going to take you back 1983. Okay, so here I arrive in US with my in-laws. I got married and his family was here. There was 4 of them are here. So I married the youngest of 6. So here I'm arrived in US and they think I couldn't figure out things. So they had to come with me.
So how did you meet him? How did you meet?
It was arranged marriage. Yes.
Okay. So you were back home in India and he was here.
What basically happened is my sister lived in Canada. My visa didn't go through, so we ended up finding a way. My whole family settled in Toronto, and my destiny was to come to US. That's the longest, simplest story because my family's in Canada. How did I, so the tie from India to Canada, this is what it comes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If everybody was in Canada and you have to come to US, why did you go to India?
Correct. Yeah. So my journey starts from India directly from I grew up in Chandigarh and his family was in Amritsar and his brothers were here and he's the youngest of 6. So here I arrive in US. So the first thing is what did not work in my marriage. So I'm going to start from there. Since this is a very emotional and it's just, I have moved on and it's a lot of, this is what happened to me and this is what shaped and formed me. So I did a little basic notes because we don't have a lot of time. And when you go emotionally inside, I don't want to repeat myself.
Sure.
So bear with me. And what I went wrong with power and control. So when I moved here, I was told that this is his parents' house. This is not my house. I follow the rules. I ask for permission. So I'll give you the example. Move in. So I'm an outsider. I'm not an insider. So my basic freedom, my basic rights were taken away.
Rights were taken away. Right.
Completely. Here I'm educated. So the reason I'm saying 83, people don't understand. Oh, you were smart. Your father is a writer and a journalist. You're 4 girls. You grew up in a society. But when you come here, I was completely isolated to a point. To make a phone call to my parents, I had to ask for permission. And he's spying, he's listening on the other side, which they have no clue. I could not check mail. I have no bank account. I did not drive. And even I was controlled what I could eat. Who could I meet? And he would call me 3 times a day to check on me. What I have done. He would check the phone bill if I had somebody who had called.
That time it wasn't in cell phones. You were having the traditional phones.
Yeah, they were
exactly. That's what I wanted people to go. It's 1983.
Right.
I'm young,
Yes.
young person. I have no family here, but my family's in Toronto, Canada. And so my job was taking care of his whole entire family, cook, clean, which I didn't learn. I learned most of the stuff here. So here but I was not even allowed to do grocery shopping, nothing. I could not, every step I make, I have to take permission. If I didn't, I was insulted right in front of everybody. Why do I walk too fast? Why I smile? Why
So,
your parents call?
so Tanya, who did this rishta? Who did this introduction? Was it family?
Through
Was it
someone,
friends?
and
Through someone. Okay.
through someone, and he made sure that my parents saw some red flags and they cleared it up, and they said, we'll take care of your daughter. The in-laws say, oh, I have 5 sons, I will have another daughter, I will treat her like my daughter, you don't have to worry about it.
I know, standard dialogue, right? Apni kudi
Right?
hogi, sade ghar kudi nahi aayegi.
Exactly. And they're so sweet in front of people, and you don't see, what's going on behind the scene.
Right.
And, so as I said, any step I had to, I was monitored like I was prisoner in my own marriage. So I didn't realize after that he's an alcoholic, he's a womanizer, he's a gambler and a bully. And since he couldn't control his emotions and his own problems, he blamed me. His mother blamed me of his drinking. So, being naive and being not thinking about it, I was thinking, oh, I can change them. I'll become more nicer. I'll be more better. I'll try to keep the situation calm. And I blame myself. And I kept asking myself that, what did I do wrong? So the issue, what happened is when his parents left, they would come back and forth, and his 3 brothers are here in the Bay Area. And after the second child, the abuse became very, very bad, to physical abuse, to mental, to verbal. And I stayed because of the children, and I left because of the children. Then I called my parents. I said, I can't take this.
How many years were you married?
9, too long, 9.5 years.
9.5 years, too long.
So the best support was my parents. When I picked them up from the airport, he has no clue. And they said, I brought them home and said, my father said, let's talk, whatever she's not capable of doing, let's figure out. And my father said, I have 4 daughters, and this one, wherever you leave her, you will find her. I have no doubt, but tell me what whatever, we can sort these things out. He said, no, you are not interfering in a marriage. There's nothing is going on. You guys need to go back. And so my father called his brothers and sister in India and everybody, let's talk. They said, there's nothing wrong with our son. Everything's wrong with her. And
in those 9.5 years, how many times did you think of leaving, but you didn't leave?
The terror, listen, we could do a maybe 2-hour-long show. I'm just telling you, the terror he put it in me, that since, so the first thing they did is took my passport and my green card, because I will lose it. It's like I'm some child or something. So when you have no rights, you're not allowed to talk to anyone. The terror and all these men, all these people, but you can't, any move I made, I was terrified by them.
So let me ask you a question, Tanya. Do you think by any means possible, I mean, that's many years ago, but now if you were to put the clock forward and imagine you were now that same young girl, right? And you were being introduced to this person, how would you have done it differently? Do you think it's good to live with somebody before you marry them? Do you think it's good to date them? For how long? How do you really find out these habits? Because sometimes you don't find out these habits until you actually live with them. And in our culture, we don't live with people before marriage. So it's a catch-22.
Correct. So I will say, I'll use my example, because I'm still single, and I did a little bit here and there, but now I listen to my gut feelings, and I'm not influenced by others. Being Indian, people are not kind to you. Especially, I was young, mother of 2 kids, women on my face, right, said, you're not allowed to talk to us, your children are not allowed to come to our homes. It was a very, very and emotional for my children. My children suffered a lot. So to protect my children, and that's why I didn't talk a lot. I kept my mouth shut because I really wanted my son and my daughter to have a life. This is part of my growing up, but I don't want people to point fingers at them.
Right. So, what advice would you give to somebody like, you said your kids are still growing up. What advice would you give them when they are, about to choose or meet people? What do you tell them that, okay,
Yeah,
this
what
is
do you
what you
tell them?
should do, this is what you shouldn't do, stay away from this, or look for
Exactly.
these things?
So that's exactly, I have a whole list of these things. So first of all, I tell my children,
I'm sure.
no, listen, first of all, I said, I'm still figuring out my life. You figure out yours. And first is don't influence by other. I'm not telling you what to do. You're going to be, marriage is a partnership.
Mm.
It's like when we buy a car or a home, we do our homework, just like that. Is find your own values. First thing is the key is to find yourself, who you are, what your values are. Is this person financially, emotionally will support you? Is he has compatibility? Does he let you be who you are? Does he treat you equally? Because I was not treated equally. I was a educated maid in this relationship. And watch out for the red flags. Things like if you feel unsafe with this person, or you are not sure that's this, or talk to someone, really, your friends, or especially talk to the domestic violence. Read their criteria, what to look for.
Right. I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do in marriages is, as you know, in our community, we have these lavish weddings and we spend so much money, right? And then you worry, of course, I mean, we get carried away because a lot of people want to show off, have these amazing weddings, destination wedding, yeah, voe. Now suddenly your child is stuck in the situation. The child feels guilty and they think, oh my God, now what? After spending all this money, what if I leave? What if this? What if I leave and I have younger siblings who don't get married? What if I get, labeled as this? All these what ifs. So your advice basically is forget what other people say.
Do not be influenced by others. So I told my children, when you find someone, do a court marriage. I don't like all this show off because it's about your happiness. It's about your values, what you make out of your life. I'm very content in my life. My parents are so supportive. My sibling, the one thing people don't do is the minute they see there's some abuse, they tell them, oh, stay there, your dead body will come. No, my mother said, you are our daughter. You're going to live your life the fullest. You're going to dress, you're going to eat, you're going to go back to school, whatever you need to do what you desire. And don't let anybody tell you.
That's the biggest support that you got, because the first thing that happens is, if when people find no support is when their parents stop supporting them and they're like, you know what, no, don't look don't look this way. This is not your home anymore.
And Ida, if you look at some of the old Indian movies, right, they tell you, right, कि अभी अपनी डोली चलेगी, your earthy will come back over here. I mean, it's that dramatic.
And even women would say, अब तो यहाँ से मेरी लाश ही उठेगी, अर्थी उठेगी. I mean, bro.
Exactly. That's
absolutely
how the culture has been, right? That the girl is, why are all the songs? That's why I don't like the Doli ceremony. The boy comes to take the girl away. How about we go to the boy's house and bring him back, right?
Exactly. And the double standard. See, this is
double standards. Yes.
So there's a lot of things in our, the red flags are there. And when, people did not say things, they could see probably the way I was dressed, the way I was, you can tell a person how happy they're in their marriage.
So today's topic, making rational decisions when choosing a life partner, is not only for the people who are getting married, but also for their families. Like Tanya, in your case, when your parents saw red flags and the other family was like, oh, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And these are things that we'll work on, then it'll all be okay. Right then we have to figure out, okay, it is not going to get okay. Some things never change, right?
Some things can't be fixed.
Exactly. And that's what my parents, I can't be grateful enough to my siblings and my parents. Who I am right now is because of my parents. They gave me more when I went through, and they cry. My father, when he sees me, my mother, it's really, but they said, you don't have to get married. You don't have to do nothing for anyone. Enjoy your life. They pursue your art, travel. My dad said, have a couple of dogs and stuff, have a home, do whatever live your life, become who you want to be. First, become comfortable with yourself, find your values. and find your love, love yourself and live your life the fullest.
So we have a few more minutes before we wrap up, Tanya. So in closing, if you could give 3 things to be rational about to somebody that's out there looking to settle down, and find a life partner, what would the 3 things be in a few words?
Their behavior, watch them, get yourself, first of all, get yourself complete. Find you who you are, your values are. If they don't match, move on. Like when you buy a car at a home, if you said, I don't like the kitchen, don't buy it. So don't compromise and don't try to show off other people. Oh, he's now this, he has this degree, he has this, but emotionally he's not stable. And so I always say, raise your boys to be better men and raise your daughters to be better girls, and work on divorce first. So this is one of my painting. It says, raise better boys to be better men and raise better girls to be better women. Then I said, what is the ideal mensch? Mensch is a Yiddish word. So for a man, I'll read it to you. It comes in a painting. Ideal man is a mensch. He doesn't not take himself very seriously. A man who thinks with his brain is caring and compassionate. He's caring for himself and others. He should appreciate others. He has a good sense of humor. He gives generously and with compassion. He is in touch with his feelings. He's strong and he's powerful, yet tender, positive and emotionally mature, wise, responsible and independent, loving, self-respecting, with morals, authentic and full integrity, and strong, patient and kind and creative, courageous, confident and temper. What I said, give your sons maturity and make your daughters confident.
Thank you so much for that. We literally got 30 seconds left. I want to really thank you. I mean, I had Kikende Punjabi, which my the veins were just standing up listening to your story. I relate to a lot of what you're going through. Thank you so much. And for those who tuned in, visit to premconnection.com. What Tanya has just talked about, I've actually written a blog called Finding a Spouse is Like Finding a Dining Table. And go read it. You'll relate to all the values that I'm talking about, which is financial, spiritual, physical, and emotional. All those 4 needs need to be met. And I can't thank you enough for being on the show. It's a very tough story to share, and I know it's difficult to talk about it, and you've done it. So hats off to you. Hats off. And again, folks, just like finding a right partner, hopefully this country has selected the right president today. Because you know what? We need somebody that can respect women and men both. Right, Miss Ira? Back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Renu. Thank you, Tanya, for being here. Absolutely inspiring story. Listeners, if you know somebody who's looking to get married, who's looking to find a life partner, do ask them to log on to the website premconnection.com. It's a private exclusive matchmaking service. You'll find all the information about the service, how it works, what it does, and also about getting in touch and getting on the database premconnection.com. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Miss Renu. I'll see you again next week.
Yes, you will. Yeah, thank you so much. Well, we'll party on Saturday if Biden comes in.
All right. Remember the orange wigs. And thank you for being here. Thank you, listeners, for watching. Stay tuned to Radio Zindagi. Cheers out.